I'm about to take you on a deep dive into the highly anticipated memoir from Christina Applegate, and not just a surface-level overview. I'm talking about reading every single page, reflecting on every chapter, and sharing my completely honest, unfiltered thoughts as I go. This isn't going to be polished PR praise or blind fandom. It's going to be real reactions to what promises to be one of the most personal celebrity memoirs in recent years. For decades, Applegate has been a constant presence in television and film. Many of us first met her as the unforgettable Kelly Bundy on Married, with Children. That role alone cemented her as a pop culture icon. She had the comedic timing, the confidence, and the kind of screen presence that made her impossible to ignore. But what makes her career fascinating isn't just the early success, it's how she evolved beyond it. Years later, she stunned audiences again with her layered, emotionally complex performance in Dead to Me. That show proved something longtime fans already knew: she's not just a sitcom star. She's an actress with incredible range, depth, and vulnerability. And that vulnerability is exactly why this memoir feels so important. This book isn't arriving at just any moment in her life. It comes after unimaginable personal challenges, most notably her battle with multiple sclerosis. When she publicly revealed her MS diagnosis, it reframed how many of us viewed her recent work and appearances. Suddenly, the resilience we admired on screen took on an entirely new meaning. Reading this memoir page by page, I'm expecting something raw. I don't think this is going to be a glossy Hollywood success story. I think we're going to see the messy middle, the doubts, the fear, the grief, the frustration, and hopefully, the humor too, because Applegate has always used humor as armor. One of the things I'm most curious about is how she structures her story. Does she begin with childhood? Does she start at her career peak? Or does she open with her diagnosis and then rewind? Memoirs often reveal as much in their structure as they do in their content. The way someone chooses to tell their story says everything about how they've processed it. Her early years in Hollywood must have been intense. Growing up in the industry can blur the line between identity and performance. I'm hoping she explores what it felt like to mature in front of cameras, to be known for a character, while still figuring out who she was off-screen. Fame at a young age can shape self-worth in complicated ways, and I imagine there are stories there that we've never heard. Then there's the transition period. After becoming synonymous with one iconic role, how do you step out of that shadow? Reinvention isn't easy in Hollywood. Typecasting is real. I want to know what it took for her to redefine herself professionally. What risks did she take? What roles did she turn down? What failures shaped her growth? And of course, there's the MS diagnosis. That chapter alone could carry the emotional weight of the entire memoir. A life-altering diagnosis forces you to reevaluate everything: your career, your independence, your physical identity, your future. I'm anticipating that these sections will be some of the hardest to read, but also the most powerful. What does it feel like to have your body change in ways you can't control? How do you continue performing when your energy, mobility, and strength are unpredictable? What does strength even mean in that context? I hope she doesn't sugarcoat it. Inspiration is powerful, but honesty is even more impactful. There's also the public versus private dynamic. When a celebrity faces health challenges, the world often turns them into a symbol. But symbols are two-dimensional. Real people are not. I want to see how she navigates that tension, being admired for bravery, while privately dealing with fear, frustration, or grief. I also expect reflections on friendship and support systems. Who showed up for her? Who didn't? Illness has a way of clarifying relationships. It can shrink your circle or strengthen it. Those insights are often some of the most relatable parts of memoirs, because they reveal universal truths about connection. Another layer I'm interested in is motherhood. How does a parent process a chronic illness while trying to remain steady for their child? That balancing act must be emotionally complex. There's strength in admitting vulnerability, especially when you're responsible for someone else's sense of security. Career-wise, I'm hoping she shares behind-the-scenes moments, not just the glamorous ones, but the awkward auditions, the creative disagreements, the moments of self-doubt. The entertainment industry often looks effortless from the outside, but longevity requires grit. Applegate has had a career spanning decades. That doesn't happen by accident. What I appreciate most about her public persona is that she's never seemed overly curated. There's a bluntness to her humor, a sharp edge, a willingness to say the uncomfortable thing. If that same voice carries into the memoir, this book could be incredibly compelling. I'm also preparing myself for tonal shifts. Memoirs about adversity often swing between heartbreak and dark comedy. That contrast can be powerful. Laughter in the middle of pain isn't denial, it's survival. And if anyone knows how to weaponize wit, it's her. The anticipation surrounding this release feels different from typical celebrity book launches. This doesn't feel like a branding exercise. It feels like a reckoning, a moment of reflection, maybe even closure on certain chapters of her life. As I read, I'll be paying attention to what she chooses not to say as well. Silence in a memoir can be just as revealing as confession. Does she protect certain relationships? Does she gloss over specific controversies? Or does she lean fully into transparency? There's also the broader cultural impact to consider. When someone with her visibility speaks openly about living with MS, it reshapes public understanding. It puts a human face on a condition many people don't fully grasp. Representation matters not just in fiction, but in lived experience. Resilience is a word that gets overused, but in this case, it feels earned. Continuing to work while managing a chronic illness requires extraordinary determination. But I hope the memoir complicates that narrative. Strength isn't constant. It fluctuates. Real resilience includes bad days. I also think this book will resonate beyond fans. Anyone who has faced unexpected change, whether health-related or otherwise, may find something meaningful here. Reinvention isn't exclusive to celebrities. It's a universal challenge. As I move through each chapter, I'll be looking for moments that feel transformative. The turning points. The conversations that shifted her perspective. The setbacks that forced growth. Memoirs are powerful when they capture evolution in real time. And let's talk about legacy. At this stage in her career, writing a memoir is a deliberate act. It's a way of shaping how your story is told. Instead of tabloids or headlines defining her narrative, she gets to do it herself. That's powerful. I also wonder how she reflects on fame itself. After decades in the spotlight, does it still hold value? Does it feel burdensome? Has illness changed how she views public attention? Those philosophical reflections could be some of the most interesting parts of the book. Ultimately, what I'm expecting from this memoir is emotional honesty. Not perfection. Not constant inspiration. But authenticity. If she allows readers to see the fear alongside the courage, the exhaustion alongside the humor, then this book could leave a lasting mark. As I read and share my thoughts page by page, I won't just be analyzing the celebrity narrative. I'll be looking at the human one. Because underneath the awards, the iconic roles, and the red carpets is a person who has navigated extraordinary highs and devastating lows. That's why this memoir matters. Not because it belongs to a star, but because it belongs to someone who has lived through transformation and is willing to talk about it. So if you've followed her career from the early sitcom days to her more recent dramatic performances, or if you're simply interested in stories of resilience and reinvention, this is going to be a journey worth taking together. I'll be diving into every chapter, reflecting on every revelation, and sharing what resonates, what surprises me, and what stays with me long after I close the book. Let me know your thoughts. What are you hoping she reveals? What moments from her career stand out most to you? And what do you think this memoir will ultimately say about strength, vulnerability, and the cost of fame? Stay tuned, because this deep dive is just getting started. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.